Hello everybody and welcome to Swappin Thoughts. Since Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is coming out May 8th, I've decided to give a little recap on what happened in the last 3 films. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to support the channel.
Swappin Thoughts.
In Rise of the Planet of the Apes, there's a group of chimpanzees that are taken from their home and placed in a laboratory at the biotechnology company Genesis. Our pharmaceutical chemist named Will Rodman performs an experiment in hopes of finding a cure to Alzheimer's disease using his new drug ALZ-112 on a chimpanzee they call Bright Eyes, giving her increased intelligence. Happy with the results, Will is able to give a presentation on his research. During the presentation, Bright Eyes went on a rampage, which got herself killed and shut down the experiment all on the same day. It was later discovered that the reason for her manic episode was because she was protecting her newly born child. Will takes the chimp home and soon realizes that the ALZ-112 got passed down to her son, Caesar. 3 years pass and Caesar can speak in sign language, Will fell in love, and Will treats his father Charles with ALZ-112, which cures his Alzheimer's and increases his cognitive abilities. 5 years later, Caesar is now more intelligent than Elon Musk after he gave his son a serial number for his name. He starts questioning his place in the world, and so Will shows him where he was born. Charles starts getting sick again and attempts to take a joyride in the neighbor's car. Caesar steps in and almost bites the neighbor's finger off. His actions led him to be taken away from home to an ape shelter. When he first showed up, he got tormented by Rocket the Alpha and Landon the chief guard. Over time, due to his hyper-observing skills, he's able to unlock his cage and roam freely throughout the facility. Caesar obtains the rank of Alpha with the help of Buck the gorilla, forcing Rocket into submission. Meanwhile, back at the lab, Jacobs reopens further experimentation of the drug after Will tells him how it affected Charles. The new ALZ-113 is tested on Koba, during which Franklin was exposed to the gas, causing him to get sick. Will attempts to use ALZ-113 on Charles, but he refuses further treatment and dies in the night. With Jacobs getting too risky, Will quits his job. Franklin then sneezes on someone. Caesar no longer wants to come home, and instead he steals the ALZ-113 from Will's house and uses it to make all the apes smarter. Caesar then speaks for the first time, shaking the entire core of existence. Before all the apes break out and release all the chimps from Genesis and the San Francisco Zoo. A battle breaks out on the Golden Gate Bridge as the apes try to escape into the Redwood Forest. Buck sacrifices himself to take down a helicopter, and Koba tosses Jacobs into the sea. Will finds Caesar in the forest and asks him to come home, to which Caesar replies,
Caesar is home.
Will accepts his wishes as the apes go waltzing about through the woods. Meanwhile, Will's neighbor arrives at the airport with the ALZ-113, leading to the spread of the virus which kills half the population. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes takes place 10 years after the start of the simian flu, which insanely reduced the human population with only 1 in 500 people being genetically immune. Caesar is now the head of a large group of apes, located in Muir Woods, near San Francisco. The apes had thought that the humans had all died out, since they hadn't seen one in a couple years. Just when Maurice is explaining that, Ash, who is Rocket's son, encounters a group of humans led by Malcolm. One of the humans, Carver, freaks out and injures Ash. Caesar shows up and orders them to leave. Koba convinces Caesar to bring his army to the human base as a power move to intimidate the humans into never coming back. However, Malcolm convinces Dreyfus, the community leader, to go back with a small team because Caesar's base is right on top of a dam that they need to access so they can work on the generator and regain electricity. Caesar allows them to work on the generator, as long as they surrender their guns. During this time, Malcolm, his wife Ellie, and his son Alex create a friendship with the apes. However, the truce is broken for a quick minute when it's revealed that Carver brought a gun. The truce was then restored when Ellie cures Caesar's wife Cornelia from her postpartum fever after giving birth to their youngest son Cornelius, but Carver had to get kicked out. Koba really hates humans and he wants to see them destroyed, so he tries to twist anything he can to get Caesar to agree with him. Koba sneaks into the human base and finds their armory. He attempts to tell Caesar what he found, but gets too heated and calls out Caesar for loving humans more than apes, to which Caesar responded by beating the snot out of him. Koba later goes to the armory, kills 2 guards, and beats Carver to death. Meanwhile, Malcolm and his team were able to successfully repair the generator. While they were all celebrating and having a good time, Koba took this opportunity to set the colony on fire and shoot Caesar, who falls to his death and frames it all on the humans. With Koba now in command, the apes go to war against the humans. The apes go absolutely bonkers on the base and imprison all the humans that they haven't already killed, except for Dreyfus and a few others who fled underground. Koba kills Ash for refusing to kill an unharmed human and imprisons all the apes that are still loyal to Caesar. Malcolm and his family find Caesar still alive and they bring him to his old home in San Francisco to recover from his wounds. Malcolm goes back to the settlement to search for medical supplies. While doing so, he runs into Blue Eyes, Caesar's eldest son. They return to Caesar together and Caesar tells Blue Eyes that it was actually Koba that shot him. Malcolm, Caesar, and Blue Eyes return to the settlement to free all the humans and the apes. Malcolm separates from the apes and finds Dreyfus, who has rigged the tower with C4, and tells Malcolm that one of his men made contact with a military base who are currently currently on their way. Malcolm holds Dreyfus and his soldiers at gunpoint to give Caesar enough time to take command and discombobulate Koba. Dreyfus ends up detonating the C4 anyway, killing himself in the process. This tower starts to collapse, but Caesar was still able to gain control and he ends up letting Koba fall to his death. Malcolm warns Caesar of the military, and Caesar tells Malcolm to take his family and leave as he prepares the apes for war. War for the Planet of the Apes takes place 2 years after the battle in San Francisco. A new human military group called Alpha Omega is searching for Caesar's ape colony. The humans also now have all the apes that once served Koba, which they call donkeys, on their side, out of fear of what Caesar would do to them. Caesar wins the battle against the human platoon, and in a desperate attempt for peace, Caesar lets the remaining survivors go. Blue Eyes and Rocket return and report that they have found an oasis that will be safer for the colony. The colonel of the military group finds out where the colony is and launches a secret attack with a small group of soldiers. He kills Blue Eyes and Cornelia and skedaddles out of there. Caesar leaves Cornelius with Lake as the colony travels to the oasis. Caesar, Rocket, Maurice, and Luca embark on a mission to kill the colonel and to provide a distraction for the colony to reach the oasis. Caesar kills a guy and finds his mute daughter. Maurice becomes friends with her and they just killed her dad, so they just take her with them. The group came across a military camp where they find Winter. They find out that Winter told the red ape where the colony was in exchange for his life. Winter tells them that the colonel is headed north, and Caesar kills him before he can alert the guards. Caesar and his gang finds dead soldiers. One of them ends up being alive, but he can't speak, just like the girl they snatched. Someone steals their horses while they were looking around. They chase him to an icy cave where it's revealed that it was a bald, skinny ape that calls himself Bad Ape, after what the humans called him when he was locked up.
Bad Ape!
Bad Ape reluctantly guides them to the quarantine facility in the mountains, where Luca dies and Caesar is captured. Caesar discovers that the rest of his colony was captured and are forced to build a wall. Caesar uses his deductive reasoning skills to find out that they are building the wall to fortify their stronghold against other military forces. Caesar meets with the colonel and he explains that the virus was mutated, causing infected humans to become dumber than the day they were born. The colonel kills any soldier that is infected, including his own son. The soldiers that refuse to kill them are also killed, and the military that he is fortifying against disagrees with his point of view. Caesar and the rest of the apes are tortured and forced to work on an empty stomach. Nova, the mute girl, sneaks into the facility to feed Caesar. Rocket gets captured on purpose to make a plan with Caesar to escape. The colonel finds Nova's doll left behind in a cage and takes it. Bad Ape and Maurice lead an escape through the underground tunnels, and the other military shows up and attacks the stronghold. Caesar attempts to kill the colonel, but hesitates after realizing that he is struck dumb by the virus because of Nova's doll. Unable to pull the trigger, Caesar allows the colonel to kill himself. Caesar attempts to take out the military from behind by blowing up a fuel tank, but is shot before he can reach it. As Caesar is about to get gunned down, the red ape saves him at the last second, sacrificing himself in the process. Caesar is able to destroy the fuel tank and escapes the stronghold before an avalanche buries them alive. The apes travel to the oasis. Maurice promises Caesar that Cornelius will know what his father did for the apes. After that, Caesar dies peacefully, knowing that the apes are safe in their own home. I really hope this helps refresh your memory in preparation for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes that is coming out in May 8th or May 9th, depending on where you live. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.